In this video, we'll continue the storyline from episode 128 of the Renegade Immortal DONGHUA series. The story opens with the members of the Luo sword sect trapped in a dangerous area called Ted Abyss. The situation inside is extremely tense, filled with monsters and poisonous insects that constantly stalk their every move. Shortly afterward, a senior member of the Luo sword sect named Long returns to his group, covered in wounds. With his remaining strength, Long asks for help from Tang, known as the Greedy Wolf. He hopes Lin will help them fight the insects so that all sect members can find a way out of the increasingly dangerous Ted Abyss. However, Lin doesn't respond at all. She remains silent, seemingly indifferent to their plight. This attitude fills Long and the other members of the Luo sword sect with deep anger and disappointment. Furthermore, one of the Luo sword sect members has fallen victim to a poisonous mosquito attack inside the cave. The death of his comrade further tenses the situation, and they begin to pressure Lin into helping. Unfortunately, their resistance was futile. With his vastly superior strength, Lin easily repelled them all. The difference in power levels between them was so obvious. The sect members were helpless before him. Lin then explained that they were currently inside Ted Abyss's dangerous cage. This place not only absorbed treasures but also sucked in powerful monsters from outside, which were then trapped inside. Therefore, Lin instructed them to remain still and patiently await rescue from Lingtian Huo. He believed that only Lingtian Huo possessed enough power to stabilize the situation and lead them out of Ted Abyss safely. The story then shifted to Wang Lin. He was moving towards the Ted Abyss area connected to Huo City, the only known exit. Wang Lin intended to monitor anyone who managed to escape. At the exit, Wang Lin placed a surveillance seal. His goal was clear. He wanted to know when the Luo sword sect members, especially Lin, would leave Ted Abyss. On the other side, at the entrance to the Ted Abyss within the Spirit Demon Water region, a group of cultivators had just arrived. They were led by a man named Xian, who was guiding 3 of his companions toward the dark, mysterious entrance. One of the group was Zhu, a cultivator from the Mo sect. Accompanying him were 2 women from the Floating Cloud sect, Zhou, Yuan, and Wei. The 3 had come with the same goal, to seek opportunities and treasures within the Ted Abyss. However, they hadn't been there long when Zhu suddenly sensed the presence of a powerful figure moving swiftly toward them. The aura was sharp and profound, making him wary. A few moments later, the figure came into clear view. It was Wang Lin. Xian immediately recognized Wang Lin, as they were from the same Tiangyan sect. He immediately called out to him in a familiar tone. Wang Lin stopped and approached them with a calm expression, though his gaze remained sharp, observing everyone before him. Xian then reintroduced the members of his group. Zhu was from the Mo sect, and Zhou, Yuan, and Wei were from the Floating Cloud sect. Upon hearing the name Wang Lin was reminded of someone from his past who also shared the same name. Shortly afterward, Xian offered Wang Lin the chance to join them in exploring Ted Abyss. Beneath the offer, there was a tinge of envy. Xian realized that Wang Lin's strength had now greatly increased, a marked departure from the past when he had been looked down upon for being from the outer planet Suzaku. Despite this hidden feeling, Wang Lin accepted the offer. He decided to join them in entering Ted Abyss. He believed that being in a group could offer its own advantages, especially in the face of unexpected dangers. After entering Ted Abyss, Xian explained that each of them had their own goals, searching for treasure. Therefore, he suggested they split up to increase their chances of finding something valuable. They separated for a while. In their solitude, Wang Lin tested the entrance they had come through earlier. He attempted to break it open to ensure an exit. However, his attempt failed. The door turned out to have a special seal that only allowed people to enter, but not exit through the same path. Wang Lin soon realized that if he forced his way through the seal, his body would be crushed by the pressure of its power. During his exploration, Wang Lin also encountered several monsters roaming the Tedebus ravine. This convinced him that this place was not just a treasure trove, but also a nest of dangerous creatures that had been mysteriously strengthened. Sometime later, the group reconvened under Dujian's direction. This time, Dujian showed them a sword he had found. He explained that the sword likely belonged to Tianyanzi and had been handed down to Wang Lin's senior, Xian. The sword had previously been thought to have been lost along with Xian. The fact that the weapon was found inside Ted Evis made the atmosphere solemn. If it were indeed a genuine sword, its value would be far more than just an ordinary treasure. Dujian proposed that the sword be returned to the Tianyan sect. He even asked Wang Lin to keep it temporarily, considering that Wang Lin was a disciple of the Tianyan sect and also Xian's successor. The other three members agreed to the proposal. Wang Lin accepted the sword calmly, though he remained cautious. However, DONGHUA suddenly noticed something strange around the tree where the sword was found. He immediately warned Wang Lin. Wang Lin nodded in gratitude, while also admiring DONGHUA's keen perceptive abilities. Using his crescent sword, Wang Lin pulled the purple sword into his hand. He instantly realized that the sword was a fake. Without hesitation, he destroyed it. Dujian immediately apologized, claiming to have but Wang Lin wasn't convinced. He knew that Dujian had long researched the Ted Ibis region. Such a mistake seemed too odd to be a coincidence. It was then that Wang Lin realized this was likely a trap. Without hesitation, he threw Dujian toward the tree in an instant. The poisonous insects hiding in the tree emerged and brutally attacked Dujian. His screams echoed as his body was enveloped in a deadly swarm of insects. In critical condition, Dujian was helpless. Wang Lin then sealed him and restrained him. For Wang Lin, Dujian's actions were enough to constitute betrayal. After the incident, the group resumed their exploration within the T-Nevis. Although Dujian had been detained, the journey continued, as their respective goals had not yet been achieved. The area within the abyss felt increasingly oppressive, as if every corner lurked danger, ready to pounce at any moment. Throughout the journey, they repeatedly encountered the monsters guarding the area. These creatures possessed auras far more powerful than ordinary monsters. However, through their forced cooperation, they successfully weathered battle after battle. It was during this battle that Wang Lin began to notice something odd about two women in the group, Zhou Yuan and Su Wei. Their movements seemed too synchronized, as if they shared a single consciousness. Their gazes and responses often synchronized without the need for communication. Among the group, Wang Lin held a deep respect for DONGHUA. On the other hand, recognized that Wang Lin was no ordinary cultivator, but rather a figure of firmness and strong principles. Before parting ways, Wang Lin issued a warning to DONGHUA. He expressed his suspicion that Zhou Yuan and Su Wei might be from the corpse sect. During his solitary exploration, Wang Lin finally arrived at the suspected location of Zhou Yi's ceiling. However, when he surveyed the no suspicious signs were immediately apparent. Even so, Wang Lin still trusted Beluo's information. He believed Beluo had no reason to deceive him. If Beluo had malicious intentions, he should have done so from the start, as there were many opportunities for him to do so. On the contrary, Beluo had repeatedly helped and pointed him in the right direction. Therefore, Wang Lin began to think more deeply. He tried to put himself in Lingtian Huo's shoes. If he were Lingtian Huo, where would he hide Zhao Yi? Wang Lin knew that Lingtian Huo was a man who valued honor. He wouldn't seal Zhou Yi carelessly. He likely wanted to subdue Zhou Yi first, forcing him to comply before actually imprisoning him. With that thought in mind, Wang Lin began to investigate the area more thoroughly. He shifted his spiritual energy, sweeping every corner. Finally, he sensed a subtle response emanating from the Lingtian Huo seal. Without hesitation, Wang Lin immediately moved toward the source of the reaction. However, as soon as he approached, he was immediately met with a powerful counterattack from the seal's power. The attack made him raise his guard. He realized that Lingtian Huo was at the peak second stage of nirvana, only one level below. The seal he had implanted was definitely not something to be easily broken through. Wang Lin immediately entered battle mode. He donned his black robe, released the soul flag, and drew his fairy sword. Waves of spiritual energy filled the area, but the seal remained firm. Even when he summoned Teia's soul to assist, the result was the same. The power of the Lingtian Huo seal was too strong to withstand with ordinary methods. With no other choice, Wang Lin summoned the beast from his war god chariot. The beast's power finally managed to contend with the seal. The resulting energy clash shook the entire Tedibus region, that the tremors were noticed by Marong Juo's entourage, and even by Tenglin's group. Elsewhere, Lingtian Huo himself sensed someone attempting to break through his seal. However, Lingtian Huo remained confident. He was certain that his seal would not be easily breached. He believed that anyone who tried to break through would only meet death. The seal grew stronger, even forming a shadowy manifestation of Lingtian Huo himself, emitting an incredibly powerful aura. This aura was so oppressive that it frightened Beluo and warned Wang Lin not to proceed. However, Wang Lin did not retreat. To save Zhou Yi, he remained at the forefront. Despite being warned of the great risks, Wang Lin had no intention of retreating. He was aware that his relationship with Zhou Yi was not particularly close. However, from Zhou Yi's attitude and sincerity, he could tell that she was different from most other cultivators he had encountered. Wang Lin still remembered how Zhou Yi nearly sacrificed herself to save Qin. Such sincerity was rare in the deceitful world of cultivation. For this reason, Wang Lin chose to trust Zhou Yi. That trust was similar to the respect he had for Si Tunin and his teacher in the soul-burning sect. Those with sincerity always held a special place in his estimation. That's why Wang Lin didn't want to disappoint Zhou Yi. He decided to risk everything. His gaze hardened as he faced the Lingtian Huo Xia, which was pressing down even more with a deadly aura. Without hesitation, Wang Lin took out his celestial brush. This weapon was no ordinary artifact. Every stroke he made with the brush would erode his own primordial spirit. The risk he faced was not just physical injury, but the destruction of his cultivation foundation. Beluo warned Wang Lin. Again, if his primordial spirit were severely injured, recovery would be extremely difficult. He might even lose his path to a higher level of cultivation. But Wang Lin didn't care. His resolve was firm. He began drawing rune after rune in the air, using the celestial brush with incredible precision and courage. One stroke, 2 strokes, until 7 strokes were created. Each line formed made Wang Lin's face grow paler. His primordial spirit began to unravel, cracks appearing in his consciousness. The pain he endured far exceeded that of any ordinary wound. Yet, he persisted. Finally, the 7 scratches were able to momentarily block the pressure of the Lingtian Huo seal. Taking advantage of this brief gap, Wang Lin immediately broke into the core area of the seal. He wasted no time, knowing the seal could strengthen again at any moment. Inside, he finally saw Zhou Yi's condition. Her condition was far worse than he had imagined. Her body was weak, her spiritual aura nearly extinguished. Her consciousness was slowly being devoured by the power of the Lingtian Huo sword seal and the demonic energy from the spirit demon water domain. She was truly on the edge of life and death. Seeing this, Wang Lin's resolve grew stronger. All the sacrifices he had made could not be in vain. However, at the same time, the pressure of the seal outside began to strengthen again. The aura of the Lingtian Huo that manifested grew increasingly oppressive, as if warning Wang Lin that time was running out. Outside, waves of energy continued to shake Ted Ibis. The episode concluded on a tense note. Wang Lin had successfully broken through the seal, but both he and Zhou Yi were in critical condition. The battle wasn't truly over. The story continues in the next episode. As always, this DONGHUA is a work of fiction adapted from a novel and is intended for entertainment purposes. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.